Hi there, this is Cheryl Swalchi again from Astral Connections, and here with me I have Lesley Phillips. We've interviewed Lesley before, so we know a lot about her already. Today we're going to profile a publication of hers. Let's talk to Lesley about her new publication, her new book that she's going to soon publish.
Yeah. Well, it's called The MidasTree.
Wonderful.
And it's a spiritual adventure story. And
What inspired it, Lesley?
Well, it's a great story, actually. I've known for many years that I would write at some point in my life, that I was here to write a book. And I intuitively became aware that I was ready to do it. And so one night I spent in about 4 hours of meditation, just clearing my blocks to writing and tuning into what I was here to write about. And that night, I couldn't sleep at all. I kept waking up, and just all this information was being downloaded and pouring into me. And I'd wake up, write some notes, put the notepad down, try to go to sleep again, and then wake up, write some more notes. And so so
you were literally compelled to write down whatever you wrote.
Yeah, by the morning I had a full outline of the book, and I knew the book from start to finish.
Wow.
By the morning. And then it was a case of sitting down and writing, because the book is nearly 300 pages long.
It's quite a long book.
Yeah, and so I wrote it using my clairvoyance. So I would sit, and literally this story would play to me like a video. And I just had to sit and watch, like watching TV, and write down what I saw. Only it's kind of like a multi-sensory video, in that you know what people are feeling and sensing at the same time.
Wow. Yeah. Was it fun watching this video?
It was, because
was it adventurous or was it action?
Even though I'm the writer, I didn't know what was going to happen next, so I was sort of waiting for the next installment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what can one expect when they pick up your book?
So I believe this book can be approached on many different levels depending on the reader. It's an adventure story. It's a fun adventure story. It's
for all ages?
For all ages. I say from kids from age 8 to 80.
Wow.
But I think it's kind of been compared to, by the kids who've read it, it's been compared to Alice in Wonderland.
Oh.
So, it's
that. We're going to enter the rabbit hole.
We enter the MidasTree.
Ah.
We enter a door in the tree and go on an adventure inside a tree. And then the adults who've read it liken it a little bit to Illusions by Richard Bach or The Celestine Prophecy, because it's an adventure, and as the adventure unfolds, the ancient spiritual mysteries are actually being revealed as part of the adventure.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about how it all came together. So you said you came up with an outline and you knew what the book was from beginning to end, but bringing that to publication, there must have been many steps between that.
Yeah, so I mean, of course, I've also told you about how I wrote it, in that I used my clairvoyance to, it was dictated to me by spirit, I guess is maybe a way of saying it. And when I was doing that, I completely disengaged my intellect, so I didn't want to judge what was coming through at all. I just wanted to allow it to flow. So then there was a stage of editing the book grammatically and just making sure that the continuity was there. And then, because it's like a fairy story, but packed full of spiritual truths and spiritual information, it lends itself to being illustrated because of the fairy tale element. So the next thing was to find an artist. And I found an absolutely fantastic artist who really was on the same wavelength as I was in terms of visualizing the characters in the book, and his name is Cody Chancellor.
Okay.
And he's just created this magical imagery to go with the writing.
Wow. Wow, I can't wait to see some of these images.
They're really great.
Wow. So you mentioned it has spiritual truths in it and spiritual learning in it. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, so as a meditation teacher, actually what I'm teaching are the ancient spiritual mysteries. And what I mean by the ancient spiritual mysteries is spiritual truths about the nature of reality, is information about the spiritual abilities that actually we all possess, and also tools and techniques that allow one to tune into those spiritual abilities and access that spiritual information. So all three of those elements are threaded through the entire book. The hero of the book is called Joshua, and the book starts with him being pure spirit.
Isn't there a Joshua Tree, a place called Joshua Tree?
There is a national park called Joshua Tree in the States. And actually that was one of the titles I played around with.
Interesting.
But when I saw what a Joshua tree actually looks like, it was nothing like the tree in my book. And the Midas tree is a perfect title because this book is the story of enlightenment, actually. And the Midas tree, King Midas touch, turning everything to gold.
Right.
And the story in the book is about the hero has to turn himself to gold in order to complete his journey inside the tree.
Wow.
And he also turns the tree to gold. So it's an analogy for enlightenment.
Oh, beautiful. So the pendant you're wearing, did it manifest before or after the Midas tree? Now I have to ask.
That was a Christmas present from my partner Corey after I'd written the book.
Okay.
But it's very, very meaningful to me. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. The audience that the book is going to be addressed to, you said from age 8 to 80. Like a younger audience, how do you think they'll view it?
So, and I'm going to focus on the younger audience first, with the imagery that we've designed and with it being like a fairy story. Well, I know that they will enjoy it because I've kind of test marketed it, if you like, on some 12-year-olds.
Okay.
And they loved it.
Okay.
They really enjoyed it. They enjoyed the characters because the characters in the book, there are these spiritual guide type beings called devas, actually. And each deva is the holder of one of the ancient spiritual mysteries. And so Joshua, on his journey through the tree, meets each of these devas in their realm within the tree and is initiated into the spiritual mystery that they teach. And so they're kind of fairy-like creatures, elfin fairy-like creatures with, and each one, as well as holding a spiritual mystery, also has a role within the tree. So, for example, there's a diva that teaches grounding, and her name is Devadni, and she also teaches about the roots of the tree and how the roots anchor the tree into the ground. And so how she looks reflects that role within the tree.
So it's sort of like a subliminal message is going in there at a young age, and when they get older, they'll know what those subliminal messages meant, I guess.
And I don't even know whether they're subliminal messages, but there's a layer of science, and there's a layer of spirituality, and there's a layer of just a fun adventure story. And I was also going to say that there's also other creatures in the tree that act as guides. So we have some animals. There's a woodpecker, and there's a bat, and there's some spiders, and so
Not my favorite.
and each of these animals also teaches spiritual information to Joshua. And some of the lessons are tougher than others, just like in life, And really, in general, what he's battling with is the nature of his own ego and overcoming some of the aspects of the ego.
Wow. You said you've had some people read it.
Yes.
Of all ages or just young?
Yeah, I've had some kids read it and some adults, both male and female.
Can you share some quotes, some comments?
Off the top of my head, I don't know if I can share some quotes, but what I can tell you is that everybody who's read it has really enjoyed it. And like I have actually one friend who's also the person who edited the book, and she's extremely well read.
Right.
Her whole house is wall-to-wall books. And she loves fantasy novels and spiritual novels. And she said, and this is high praise indeed, actually coming from her. She said, this is something really unique and new. This is something fresh and exciting. That it's as on the level of books like Illusions and the Celestine Prophecy, but it's also different. And actually, I also had Eckhart Tolle's publisher, Constance Kello, has read the book.
Wonderful.
And she was, the genre of the book didn't fit in with Namaste because they don't publish children's books, but she was very complimentary about it as well.
Wonderful.
And actually, there's a quote from her on the website.
Oh, wonderful. We'll have to
see
grab
what
that
she said, yeah.
for you so we can get that. You're going to be here doing a preview reading for our audience
That's right.
in September. We'll get you the dates. What's the audience going to expect when you're here? Will you give us a sneak preview from the book?
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll do a reading from the book, and then we'll have a little bit of a Q&A about it, but we'll also talk about the spiritual teachings in the passage that we read.
And are all ages welcome?
All ages are welcome.
Wow, sounds like fun. I can't wait to get my hands on this book. I keep hearing about this book, but I gotta get my hands on it. Yeah, wonderful. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience?
We'll have some copies by the 28th of September.
Oh,
we'll have some
wonderful.
author copies available to sell locally and for people to review. And then we'll be launching it on Amazon and Kindle, and
So there'll be an ebook available as well?
and there'll be an ebook available, and that will come a little bit later, so maybe the end of October, beginning of November for that.
This is going to be a hit, guys.
I hope
I
so.
can't wait.
I hope so, but and it's jam-packed with spiritual information, from clairvoyance, clairaudience, astral travel, telepathy, how to meditate, how to ground, how to center. There's just an enormous amount of spiritual information packed into this book.
Would you say your life's learnings are in there? Or more?
Yeah, I would say they probably are. I mean, I think that about my card deck as well, that my card deck is a reflection of my own personal experiences. And, I am on a path of spiritual unfoldment, and like everyone else, I have my own battles of my own ego and things that I need to learn, and that's what this book is about. It's the journey of spiritual unfoldment.
Wow, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, Lesley.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.